We have Brother Yuya, and who's coming on tonight.
All right.
He's also known as Brother Heru. He is an initiate priest in the Nigerian Orisha traditions and the Ifa priestly order. He is also the chief priest and temple head of Anu Nation, where he initiates students into the Orisha traditions. The Salhulu House Spiritual Center is the name of his school, and he is also the author of Grasping the Roots of Divine Power, Solutions for Dysfunctional Family Relationships.
Oh,
right,
beautiful.
so that's going to be pretty deep. That's going to be pretty deep tonight.
All
right, we have Brother Yuya on. Brother, are you here?
I'm here, brothers. Good evening.
Good evening, brother.
All right. Thank you for being here, brother. Appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, we're going to get into a lot of information. I've read your bio, and it's pretty deep. And so we're going to go into, I guess, the Ifa traditions. How would you break that information down specifically as far as African religion, how Ifa plays into that? And, of course, I'm pretty sure you've read Wayne Chandler's book, Ancient Future.
Ancient Future,
in which he speaks about how the Ifa system was taken into the Orient, known as China and Japan, in which that formed the I Ching principle system,
right?
In which that it later became. So let's see how let's go into that information, and for the audience, tell who you are, and if there's anything in which that I missed, definitely go deeper, brother.
All right, beautiful. First, of course, I want to give appreciation for you having me, and for all of your listeners who tuned in to give me an opportunity to share this information with you all. So I thank you for that. In terms of background and my history in this, like many others, I'm just one who has been called to esoteric information, occult information, and I found the Nigerian system of Orisha study and Ifa to be more intuitive for me. I've been doing this for over 20 years, about 22 years, and just different systems, going through various systems and learning and studying and working with people and going through initiation, so forth and so on. Ultimately, though, this is just what was most intuitive for me. I love many other traditional systems, Sangoma, as well as especially the Congolese system. As you probably know and your listeners know, the more you study and the more you dig, the more common strings and commonalities you find between systems. So I've fallen in love with this one, with the Eastern Ifa, but I love all African indigenous tradition. I love all global indigenous tradition. So tonight I'd like to share maybe just a little information that hopefully will help people to tie in what Orisha are and what Ifa is with maybe what they're already studying. So they'll have a little bit of, a little extra twist now to add to the work that they're already doing, or maybe the thinking that they're already doing, just by giving it a different perspective. I want to address, you asked about how does Ifa play into African religions. Well, firstly, Ifa, the word Ifa, it means to scratch or engrave or to impress upon. And what that basically means is Ifa means to go beneath the surface. Ifa deals with understanding the spiritual or the soulful or the divine subcontext of everything that we experience in our physical and mundane reality. That is Ifa. Now, of course, we're told a lot of other things about Ifa as well as Orisha, but it's important to understand that these traditions have been invaded by folks who didn't understand them, wasn't trying to understand them. So once that invasion occurred, there was a lot of assimilation of external alien information and dogma and doctrine that invaded, and now, kind of perverted the language a bit and perverted the concepts a bit. There's nothing spooky about it. deals with the mathematics of the cosmos. That mathematic, it expresses itself through something that we call Odu, which is spelled O-D-U, Odu. And Odu actually means womb. Womb, just like a woman's womb. That's what Odu means. In the Ifa system, we have 256 Odus. They're not necessarily scriptures, but they're primal energies. Okay, these 256 Odus come from a combination of the primary 16 Odu, which we call the Odu Ifa. Okay, and these were the primordial energies that showed up on the earth to begin to create womb points around the cosmos. So these are entry points in which you can walk through to create or to leave any fathomable reality. There's stories associated with them, rituals associated with them, songs, so forth and so on, with each one. If you were to look at an Odu, it's almost like a binary writing, because it uses combinations of light and dark, O-G-B-E, Ogbe. That's the first Odu, that's number one. And that's written with 4 lines, 4 vertical lines. And when you have one single vertical line, it represents light. When you have 2 vertical lines, it represents dark. Touching on Brother Chandler's work, when he spoke about the I Ching associating itself or being a child of the Odu Ifa, that's absolutely correct. There are certain Odus, in the I Ching, we have primary 8 hexagram. For instance, we have Ogbe, just like I said. And Ogbe associates itself with the hexagram known as Chien, and that's heaven. Okay, that's number one, because everything comes from the subcontext of heaven. That's where everything begins, or what we like to refer to as the 5th dimension. Okay, that's the subcontext of everything here on Ia, or Earth. Okay, and then you have even like Irosun, which associates itself with the hexagram Sun, which is wind. We have Ofun, which associates itself with Kan, which is water. Ed, which is mountain. Oyeku, which is Kun, the earth. Orin, which is Chin, thunder. Oshe, which is Li, fire. Iwari, which is Twi, the valley. Okay, so those are the associations with the primary Ifa Odu, connecting them to those different I Ching. And as you know, the I Ching, same thing. You have light lines, or you have solid lines, and then you have broken lines. The solid lines represent masculinity or light. The broken lines represent femininity or receptivity. So that's how those associate themselves with one another. When you're dealing with Ifa, you're dealing also with the words of Orumila. Orumila. Okay, now Orumila, Orun means heaven, and Ila, or Ila, means diviner. Okay, so Orumila is the diviner of heaven. And what that basically means is Orumila is the one who offers us the direct testimony and the direct words from a system who we call, one of the names of Supreme being Olodumare. Okay. Now, important in that, when you hear the name Olodumare, you hear Ol-Odu Mare. Okay, Ol means owner, or O means owner, and Odu again means womb. Mare means serpent. So Olodumare is the owner of the serpent's womb. So when we're dealing with serpents, we're dealing with Kundalini, we're dealing with DNA, we're dealing with evolution. So Olodumare represents that first premier starting point of the next step of evolution. That's what Olodumare. Very similar to, if we take it to the Kemetic, we have Atum Mare. Okay, and Atum Mare deals with the atomic beginnings. Same thing. Atum Mare, Olodumare. It's the same. Okay, so again, Orumila brings us the words, the testimony, the guidance from Olodumare, and Orumila is
Tahuti, or similar to Tahuti or Gabriel in the biblical.
Orumila, that's right. Orumila is Tahuti. Okay, Orunmila is Tahuti. Orunmila is Moses. Orunmila is John Henrik Clark. Okay,
that's right.
Chuck D is Orunmila. These were people who brought the law to us. Orunmila represents the law bringers. Just like when Public Enemy came, we had on stage Eshu and Orunmila, or Ilegba and Orunmila. We had Flavor Flav. He was the door opener. He was the one that pulled us in. That said, "Oh wow, this looks cool. I want to wear a clock. I want to, And then right behind him, door open, came Moses, or the lawbringer, or Orunmila, or Tahuti, incarnated as Chuck D. Okay, so same science, So that's how Orunmila and Ifa and the King, how they kind of all associate with each other. It's important to know too, a common misconception that Orunmila is not an Orisha. Okay, it's typically taught that you have Olodumare and then everything else is Orisha, and that's not actually correct. You have Olodumare, or who we call also Eledumare or Odumare. There's many names we use. Olojo, Oni, there are direct emanations straight from Olodumare, just like how you have in the Kabbalic system, you have Chokma and Bina, you have those higher Sephiroth. Well, in those higher Sephiroth, or in those higher realms, we have Orunmila, Odupa, and Obatala. These three are not actually Orisha. Orunmila represents all-knowing. Oduduwa represents omnipotency. And again, you hear that word Odu. Oduduwa means the womb of the black woman. That's what it means literally, the womb of the black woman, Oduduwa. Okay, and it represents omnipotency. Then you have Obatala. Oba means king. Tala means white cloth. So Obatala is the king of the white cloth. Obatala is king of the white cloth, and he represents omnipresence, because that white cloth is that prism, that fabric that holds all of existence together. And these three individuals or emanations are not Orisha. The Orisha come underneath them.
Definitely explain the Orisha sense. Like you said, the three are symbolic to the omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. Which of course symbolizes, the higher powers, or in the, the three higher chakras, or the bodies in which that survive death, like the Aku, the Ba, and the Ka.
The all-knowing, the all-powerful, the all-present.
Definitely explain to us the Orishas and their role and their function, from the three.
Okay, cool. All right, so again, we have the three, right? And those are direct emanations of Olodumare. And then the way Olodumare is not the first deity. Olodumare, very similar to Kether in our Kabbalah, is the first attempt to define oneself, the crown. Okay, and then above that, we know we have Ain. Okay, Ain represents that stage darkness, Ein Sof, or so it's that other entity. So when Olodumare came forth and was created, Olodumare created various streams of consciousness. One of the consciousness that were created was called Ori, which is spelled O-R-I, Ori. And then we also had Orisha. Okay. Now I'm gonna get to Orisha. I just want to do it in order. So Ori has is the exact as a spark from Olodumare. It's just like in the Bible when it says God breathed into man and man became a living soul. Okay, we have a word in Yoruba for that, and that's called Emi, E-M-I, Emi, similar to the Kemetic Shu. Emi is divine breath. Okay, and if you don't have Emi, you don't have a soul. It doesn't mean that you can't be created. You can be created and you can look like someone with Emi, but if you don't have Emi, there's no Ori, or there's no soul. The Ori is synonymous with the soul. Okay, now the way it works in this tradition, you have the Ori, But the Ori has no character. The Ori has no personality. So because of that, in a sense, it has limited potentiality. Okay, the Ori is just straight will, and it connects you with your human character to your divine will. Okay, it's just straight force, like just lightning, but it has no flavor to it. Basically, it has no style.
Right.
Now, so that's why we need. Here comes the Orisha. The Orisha exists beneath the Ori. Orisha, and I should say this, Ori, the word itself means head. Okay, it means head.
Right.
And you have different kinds of Ori. You have the Ori Ode. Ode means outer. Right. That's the outer head. You have the Ori Inu, which is the inner head. That's your consciousness. The Ori Ipako, which is the connection to your Egun or your ancestors. The Ori Atari, which is that chain link that connects you to your higher self, which is your Ori Iponri. You have your Ori Ara, which represents the condensed matter of your physical body. You know, so there's different forms of how the Ori expresses itself. Similar to the Ka, right? Now,
which is all forms of consciousness.
Right. Exactly. It's a piece and it's a chunk of that supreme consciousness. It's what makes you the deity. Okay? So now underneath that, the Ori says, okay, I have will, I have drive, but I'm not acclimated to planet Earth. I'm not acclimated to the elements on this planet. I'm like a bull in a china shop. I just got all this force and drive, but I don't really know how to work it here. So this is where the Orisha come in. Now, Ori again means head or consciousness, and Sha means selected or seated. Okay, so when you have Orisha, it means the consciousness that is selected. So you basically look at your Orisha almost like a menu. You say, okay, well look, I got all this force, I got all this power, but I need to attract people to me. I need to attract the energy of congregation. I need Oshun. Oshun brings things together. Okay, but she has a certain way that she does it, which I don't really know how because I'm just straight force. So the Ori selects and propels Oshun, the Oshun energy that exists within you, okay, in order to get something done. So I'll explain what each Orisha is. Well, just the 7 major ones that we deal with in the diaspora. So it kind of makes more sense as I'm relating it to Ori. You have, for instance, Oshun, right? Now, again, always remember, anytime you have the letter O or OL, it signifies ownership. It means owner of, the congregative energy of the cosmos. Oshun is the energy that pulls things together. It's that dark matter that holds things together. That's Oshun. Okay, and then you have, let's say, Ogun, right? And Ogun is the acidic force of the cosmos. Ogun represents acid. Okay, Ogun breaks things down. He's an analyst. He breaks things down, but he's actually red, and we'll get into why he's red in a bit. But we have Shango. Now, red, just so you know, red represents Ashe. When Ashe activates, it turns red. Okay, and Ashe is power. It's assimilated with chi or prana. It's power.
That's right.
And when it turns on, it turns red. When it's in its receptive mode, or when it's what we call Odu, which is the opposite, it's black. So Odu is black, Ashe is red. Okay? So now we have Ogun, he's straight red. That's why he represents all that aggression and virility, because that's just straight Ashe, straight power. Okay? He would be similar to a 50 Cent or a Suge Knight, Mike Tyson, who even used to call himself the God of War, you know, or Iron Mike. These are incarnations of that Ogun energy. Okay? Then we have, like I said, Shango. Now, Shango's colors are red and white. Okay? So you have a combination here. The white in Yoruba culture we call Fun Fun. Okay? And Shango is circumspection. That's the energy that he represents, just like Heru. Okay, it's that hawk. It's that ability to see things, see everything at one time. Okay, that's Shango. Now he has the red of activated Ashe, but then he has the white coolness of Obatala. Now, Eshu represents intellectual capacity and segregation. He separates things. This goes here, that goes there. Okay, so Eshu is responsible for species. Okay, that's Eshu. He's the one who created different species. Now, of course, we're told that Eshu is the crossroads, and he's opportunity. You know, when we hear about Ilegba, Ilegba comes from the Yoruba word Ilegbara, and that means a person of great power. Okay, and then of course when it came here, you know, things change over time. It became Ilegba, then Legba. You know, when you hear like Robert Johnson singing down in the Delta, they sing about Legba, made a deal with the devil at the crossroads, Legba. Okay, this is Eshu. Eshu is Ganesha. Okay, same energy. Eshu is Loki. Eshu is Pan. Okay, Eshu is Lucifer and Jesus, or I should say the Christ. Again, if you even look at the word Jesus and you take the J off the front, the S off the back, you have the word Eshu. Okay, so that is the energy of Eshu. He's the segregative force that says either you go here or you go there, but you're going to make a decision. Okay, now he also is called Onibode, and Onibode means the gatekeeper. A perfect representation of Eshu is in the movie Thor. When you look at the character that Idris Elba played of Himendall, Himendall was Eshu. He was that Onibode. No one can come through here but by me. Similar to Jesus, no one coming to the Father but by me. I'm the truth, the way, and the life. Okay, that is that Eshu energy. Now, we also have Oya, which a lot of people hear about. Oya, right? And the word Oya means she tears or she tore it. Okay, so it means it in both senses. Tear, as in to cry, because she represents compassion, but it also represents the ripping of things. Okay, now, interesting enough, if anyone's familiar with like the Buddhist paradigm or the Hindu paradigm, Oya is also Kuan Yin and Tara. Tara means tears. Same thing. Okay, now we know that Oya is the energy that she represents the supplanting of power. Okay, right. So you know we all get the word.
That's also where we get the word. Remember, the humans, based on the Kemetic traditions, Ra cried his tears in which that formed human beings into existence. You know, and the word for that was Misram, you know, which is the children of the light. So
everything is everything.
That's where the Europeans got a lot of their gods, the gods of thunder, the gods of rain.
That's right.
With energy.
Right. It comes right. Well, Jehovah comes from Oya. Jehovah and Oya, when they were speaking to Jehovah, they were actually speaking to a carnation of Oya. Okay, that's why Moses would go up into the cloud to see the cloud, and God would speak through a storm cloud. That was Oya coming at that time. Okay, so Oya again is the supplanting of power. If we look at it from the hurricanes or tornadoes, the tornado picks up something and moves it somewhere else. It doesn't necessarily totally destroy it. It can, but it usually moves it. Okay, so Oya represents like inheritances, going into a job, taking somebody's job, you know, stuff like that. That's all Oya's work. Okay, and then of course we know we have Yemoja, or her full name would be Yeye Omo Eja. Yeye means mother, Omo means child, Eja means fish. Okay, so we know when we're dealing with Yemoja, we're dealing with the Piscean energy, the Vesica Pisces. Okay, that's Yemoja. Okay, but also Yemoja represents instantaneous healing. She sustains the concept of instantaneous healing on the planet. Her colors being blue and white or blue and silver. Okay, she's actually the complement of Shango. Okay, she's actually a complement of Shango. But again, Yeye Omo Eja, Yemoja, we more closely related if we go in Kemetic to Nut. the darkness of the night sky sustaining the stars. Now we know again from Aleister Crowley, that we're all stars. Okay, so we're stars that are suspended in the night sky. Yemoja is the water that suspends the fish in the water. Okay, the same thing. All right, so these are just some of the basics, and like I already told you, Obatala, Orumila. We have Ochosi, who represents astral travel. But these are the actual formulas that we can tap into, known as Orisha. So now what happens is, going back to that energy of Ori. So Ori says, based on what I need to get done, I'm going to select these different consciousness to get it done. But the key is, we always have to understand that because we have Ori inside of us, and Orisha are subject to Ori because they're tools that are used by Ori, just worship the tool. That's like going and worshiping a screwdriver. But you have to know when to use a screwdriver, when to use a hammer, when to use a hacksaw. They have different purposes and different reasons, and sometimes you can even combine tools for different results. But if you combine the wrong tools, you might cut yourself. Okay, so that's where a lot of that spookism comes with Orisha. Or don't put your oil next to Oshun and fight, and don't put this. That doesn't even exist. Okay, it's just certain things happen when certain formulas come together. If you put Yemoja together with Ogun, you get rust because you're putting salt water with iron, so it rusted. But there's nothing wrong with that because rust represents life. So you just got to know what to do with the rust now, because rust also represents blood. And that's something to know too. Whenever people are doing rituals and you want to get iron spike or anything like that, the more rust it has on it, the better. It's been oxidized. That means it has life on it. Okay, so that's how the Orisha relate themselves to the Ori. And then, of course, after that, you have another string, which are called the Egun. And the Egun are our ancestors. I can get into that at point of Orisha study and Ifa to be more intuitive for me. I've been doing this for over 20 years, about 22 years, and just different systems, going through various systems and learning and studying and working with people and going through initiation, so forth and so on. Ultimately, though, this is just what was most intuitive for me. I love many other traditional systems, Sangoma, as well as especially the Congolese system. As you probably know and your listeners know, the more you study and the more you dig, the more common strings and commonalities you find between systems. So I've fallen in love with this one, with the Eastern Ifa, but I love all African indigenous tradition. I love all global indigenous tradition. So tonight I'd like to share maybe just a little information that hopefully will help people to tie in what Orisha are and what Ifa is with maybe what they're already studying. So they'll have a little bit of, a little extra twist now to add to the work that they're already doing, or maybe the thinking that they're already doing, just by giving it a different perspective. I want to address, you asked about how does Ifa play into African religions. Well, firstly, Ifa, the word Ifa, it means to scratch, or
Japan, in which that formed the I Ching principle system,
right?
In which that it later became. So let's see how let's go into that information, and for the audience, tell who you are, and if there's anything in which that I missed, definitely go deeper, brother.
All right, beautiful. First, of course, I want to give appreciation for you having me, and for all of your listeners who tuned in to give me an opportunity to share this information with you all. So I thank you for that. In terms of background and my history in this, like many others, I'm just one who has been called to esoteric information, occult information, and I found the Nigerian system of...
Brother, are you here?
I'm here, brothers. Good evening.
Good evening, brother.
All right. Thank you for being here, brother. Appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, we're gonna get into a lot of information. I've read your bio, and it's pretty deep. And so we're gonna go into, I guess, the Ifa traditions. How would you break that information down specifically as far as African religion, how Ifa plays into that? And of course, I'm pretty sure you've read Wayne Chandler's book, Ancient Future.
Ancient Future,
in which he speaks about how the Ifa system was taken into the Orient, known as China and Japan. We have Brother Yuya, who's coming on tonight. He's also known as Brother Heru. He is an initiate priest in the Nigerian Orisha traditions and the Ifa priestly order. He is also the chief priest and temple head of Anu Nation, where he initiates students into the Orisha traditions. The Salhulu House Spiritual Center is the name of his school, and he is also the author of Grasping the Roots of Divine Power, Solutions for Dysfunctional Family Relationships. All right, beautiful. So that's going to be pretty deep. That's going to be pretty deep tonight. All right, we have Brother Yuya on.